Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. I'm going to throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the set emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can flatter those emotes. If you're not a subscriber, well, you can just use someone else's emotes, or you can just go ahead and say hi. Aristophan just subscribed to tier 2. That's 38 months. That's a 38 streak. Thank you so much. Also, you did some math in there, which I refuse to check. I believe you. 38 months is a long time. Thank you for your continued support. Lashberg is here throwing in the emotes. I'm going to throw those emotes in again, of course, because resubbed, which is great. Thank you for resubscribing. Thanks for being here. Thanks to everybody that's here tonight. Let's see. In the chat, hanging out. Hope you're all doing well. We're going to see if a few more folks decide to join us tonight. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. I'm going to also do this. Yeah. Do this. Yeah. Maybe tonight will be a chill, just a couple friends hanging out as I work on this model kit from the year 2007. The Destiny Gundam. Not the Gundam Destiny, the Destiny Gundam. Altron Gundam. There are a few out there that are the name of the thing before it. But then there's a lot that are not. I mean, most of them are Gundam something or other. But a few of them come before the name Gundam or the word Gundam. It's weird. I said Gundam a whole lot in a row there. Did it lose its meaning? I hope it didn't. Anyway, I'm going to work on the second arm here. We did one arm already. We're going to do the second arm. Should go nice and smooth because I've already done it once. Should not be an issue. So we'll do that. We'll do the shoulder. Then we'll work on the legs, which I assume I can do together, which will be cool. We'll talk about a bunch of things. I've got some manga to talk about. We'll talk about in general why, but I don't have any anime to talk about because I only have 2 shows that I like this season enough that I want to talk about them. I have another show that I like just fine, that I enjoy, but Restaurant in Another World Season 2, there's no reason to give a play-by-play. Either, look, I recommend it. I think it is a great show, but it's also a show I don't feel like I have to watch weekly. So this is a rough season. And in fact, I'll talk about that later. But the latest Pat Bear's Anime Club episode is literally me recommending shows that came out this year that you might not have seen because you should watch those instead of basically anything from this season. Because even one of the shows I'm watching, I don't think is great. It's good. It's fundamentally got some issues. Banished from the Heroes Party isn't great for a variety of reasons, but it's at least decent. Harold's here hosting the stream. Thank you for the host, Harold. Appreciate that, my friend. Yeah, we're still in the intro portion. We'll get into the model kit building portion soon. But yeah, that's kind of like, I don't know. Like, I liked Banished from the Heroes Party, and I genuinely enjoy Faraway Paladin. I'm interested to see where it goes. It's been very slow paced, and I appreciate that. Like, we haven't like left the place where the character was born and has lived for 15 years, and it's like I think our main character Will goes on a journey, but he hasn't yet. So maybe he will. Maybe he won't. It could be that they introduced a bunch of characters in the opening they show a bunch of characters in the opening that aren't really in the show. I mean, that's possible. I don't know. But yeah, this is a retread, but yeah, I'm not thrilled with the current anime, the new ones, the continuations. Yeah, not super jazzed about just on anything anime wise, which is a shame. Because I would love to be excited about shows that are out this season. I will watch all of the Assassin, the world's greatest assassin. But I'm hey, Lord Crashes and welcome. But I'm probably gonna like marathon that towards the end of the season, or when the season's almost over. I'm probably gonna just go ahead and marathon it because watching it weekly doesn't really appeal to me in this very moment that I am currently in. Pat down on anime. The end is here. I mean, that's the thing, right? In general, anime still very good. There's still stuff I really like, but this season is a bummer. Last season, I think, had like some real high highs and a bunch of perfectly acceptable stuff. And then the spring season was really fucking good, and the winter season was really good. So it's just that this season, the fall season, is just a bummer. And the thing that sucks about it is like generally the biggest gap between seasons is the fall into the winter because there are holidays, and so Japan doesn't really takes a little time off before the new shows start. So there'll be a period in December where everything is wrapped up and nothing new is started, and usually that's a good time to like catch up on what I missed from the season. But I'm not missing anything this season, so it's gonna be a little weird. Anyway, I'm gonna retweet my tweet and let's get into model kit building. Um, I think that'll be just fine. Uh, my folks are back here in town. They got back into the house today. Did prepare dinner for the family, which is nice. That's usually not my thing, but I did prepare a meal for the folks because they were on their way back. They're back safe and sound. It's good. I'm very happy about that. Um, Harold says, "Yeah, that's understandable. All forms of media is cyclical. Yeah. Uh, ebb and flow, kind of how like this is a down year for games, at least for me. Comedy's in a fun place right now. Lord Crash Dinner, I mean, like, it's more so than almost, I would say more so than almost any other medium out there, a form of entertainment. Comedy is directly reflective of the mood of the country 2 years ago. Now, because some people like to say that comedy is on the cutting edge and comedy is like ahead of the curve, even, but it's not really because comedy is reactionary to what's going on, but it takes a little while for everybody to hear it. So, like, while it's true that this is one of my like major theories anyway on comedy because I think too much about comedy. While it's true that there are people in parts of this country and in the world, we can go globally, that are really like doing some groundbreaking, cool, interesting, self-reflective like stuff that's like really kind of like pushing the envelope and really exploring things. That is true. Um, we don't get to see that for a while. It takes a while for that to get polished and kind of dumbed down and refined in a way that it becomes presentable to a larger community of people, right? Like going around right now is a clip of James Acaster. He is a British comedian. He was on Taskmaster. Very funny gentleman. And it's him talking about um, uh, comics and how, like, like they're like, like basically what's happening right now, which is like comics who act bigger than they are, and who are like saying, I just tell it like it is, and I don't pull any punches or whatever. And in this particular case, going after trans people with their jokes. And the thing is, one, uh, that's not it's not new material, right? And two, it didn't, the thing that like people were saying like, oh, this is like, like, oh, he actually did this bit a couple years ago. Isn't it funny how this is like so like uh prescient right now? And it's like, no, because it's been since he did it. And also that bit wasn't popular a couple years ago. It didn't do great. He literally jokes about how he had to take out the name of Ricky Gervais because he used to call out Ricky Gervais by name in that joke, in that bit, and it didn't go well because people were ready to agree with him about those kind of comics, but weren't ready to have him name names about people that were doing it, even though Ricky Gervais was doing it. It's just that when James was making these jokes, people weren't ready to not like Ricky Gervais in any way, shape, or form. So he literally made a joke out of people being uptight about him calling him out, and that became part of the joke, which it doesn't need to be. Now maybe it wouldn't need to be. Then it certainly did need that. But yeah, comedy does like go in waves, and it does kind of like eat its own tail because like uh, the thing that we were saying, right? A thing that people were saying. It's not just me. I don't speak for anyone but myself, really. But a thing that you will see out there is people saying things, uh, generally to the effect of, um, "It's so obvious, it's boring." Uh, like all of it is, right? It's just boring. This kind of thing, right? Like this, like today, the day that we're recording this, Dave Chappelle is out there saying that he's having trouble selling a documentary that was filmed about him. That he can't sell it to anybody, right? And maybe that's true. I tend to believe that that's bullshit. That this bad press isn't enough bad press to stop anyone from making money. I will say this. I fully believe that there are indeed festivals that are not interested in being the first festival to air this documentary. I totally 100% believe that. But as far as distributing it, licensing it, distributing it, particularly internationally, I don't believe that to be the case. And my guess, actually, what legitimately is happening right now is a couple film festivals were like, no thanks, but maybe another time. Submit it again because they didn't want to take the heat. They didn't want to be the ones to take the heat because he's not actually taking any heat, but they would take some criticism from people. Or it could also be that some of these festivals were genuinely like, fuck off. That he can fuck off. We don't want that. We don't want that energy here, which is within their rights. But it is a thing, right? So the big bad cabal of trans people and their allies are censoring Dave Chappelle by being like, hey, you're not even telling jokes, you're just being mean. They're not even jokes. So, what if you didn't? Um, but yeah, that is the thing. And then also, a point that has been brought up. I'm not the first person to make this point, but I will. Hey, Thunder Fox is following. Thank you for the follow. Aristfan says pushback is not equal to censorship. Totally. Dave's one of the biggest comics around. Nobody can cancel him but himself. Yes. Also, to the point of this, right? It has to be said, and it's not like people are pushing this on him. Uh, this is a thing that he has said himself. One of the reasons why he likes working with Netflix is he found out that Netflix had licensed from Comedy Central the Dave Chappelle show. And that bummed him out. And apparently, he talked to people at Netflix and said, hey, this really makes me sad that you're airing this. I don't like this. I didn't sign off on this. I don't have any real way to say you can't, but it really bums me out. And according to Dave, this is according to him, they listened and they ended the deal with Comedy Central to like or the production company via Comedy Central that handles that. And then it wasn't on Netflix anymore. So by Dave Chappelle's own logic, he canceled the Dave Chappelle show reruns. He took it off by making a lot of noise about it. Uh, when actually he wanted to be heard, made his opinion about how Netflix didn't intentionally go out of their way to hurt him, but their actions did hurt him and they did have an effect in the real world, which is they made a financial decision to air a popular show, and he was like, "This is a bummer." And he says in interviews, he did wonder if it was like it's like they must be doing this on purpose, but he realized, oh, that they're not. Which is the only thing different from what he does because he is aware at this point. The difference would be if he was like, "Hey, Netflix, It bums me out that people can watch the show because I'm kind of past it, and this is the bummer. Now, imagine if they had said, "Well, Dave Chappelle, you're a snowflake, and you need to get a thicker skin, and you like, hey, we're just showing a comedy. It's just comedy. People love it. And I don't know, hey, according to my friend who is also a comedian that has had a show on Comedy Central, this is fine. Because I know one person that says this is cool. So we're just going to do it. Uh, so yeah, we talked to Tosh, Daniel Tosh. He has a show on Comedy Central as well, and he thought it was fine. So we're just gonna do it. Um, and that's basically what it is. But instead, they were like, "Hey, Dave, sorry we didn't realize that this was gonna hurt you. We should have. We didn't. We didn't mean it. We're just a company. We did a thing. But like, we get it, and we don't want to be the reason you're sad. So we'll fix it." And that's not hard. It's literally here's the thing that's hard, right? The thing that is actually hard is being told by someone, "Hey, the thing you did or said really bummed me out. Really made me sad." It is fucking hard to hear that. It legitimately is hard to hear that. And the decision to the spur of the moment decision to go on the defensive because of that, to be like, "Ah, shit, yeah, ah, well, I didn't mean to." I get it. I mean, look, I'm not lecturing you folks. I'm not lecturing anybody that's watching right now live or watching this on the VODs or watching this later on YouTube. This is not me trying to lecture y'all about this stuff, right? It literally just is that shit sucks when you are called out, and it is often easier to be like, "Well, I didn't mean that, and so I'm not going to apologize because I didn't mean to hurt you, so it's not like I actually did." Um, and it is very difficult to go, "Fuck, okay." And even if it's just the empty, like, "I'm sorry you feel that way." Like, that sucks. That fucking really sucks. The "I'm sorry you feel that way." That wasn't my intention. Like, can often sound terrible and feel bad. But 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 if it's true, if you genuinely are like, "Hey, I'm sorry I fucked up like that. I didn't mean it." Um, it's a shame that Netflix had the worst reaction to all criticism. Yeah, because it's like, look, just say, "Hey," like, you can't say that words don't matter because you also say that words do matter. But one, it's a lie. It's a falsehood to say that words don't matter and don't have an effect on anyone. Like, that's nonsense. Uh, it's easily contradicted by their very own words. If they want to say, "We respect Dave Chappelle's right to be wrong," like, that sucks, but at least it's something. If you can be like, "Hey, you know what? Like, at the end of the day, Dave puts the material he wants to put into his specials, and that's he is making the choice that he wants to make." Uh, like, you could just say that because that's what it is, right? Because that's the thing, right? Consequence culture is what we're actually talking about. Uh, Cancel culture is a term obviously created by people who are so afraid that they can't do whatever the fuck they want. And also, it is people who are looking to feel victimized, to feel uh, that be asking for an understanding, that the invitation for a dialogue or for some sort of understanding and change is met with this kind of like gut reaction of I'm not wrong, you're wrong. You can't tell me that I'm fucking this up because I'm not fucking this up. I didn't fuck this up. What are we doing here? You know, it's just it is frustrating that the thing of like, hey, you can say whatever you want, but that doesn't mean it's cool or that it's okay. Um, and that's a hard thing for some people to seem to wrap their head around. Or it's not hard at all. They just don't think it applies to them, right? Like that's why you have like Jon Stewart defending Dave Chappelle because it becomes a personal thing, right? That's the big thing, right? And you can feel that, right? You can feel that when people that you like or people you're friends with get called out for their behavior or their choices, right? It's that like it becomes the thing of like, yeah, it's probably hard to say, you know, I think Dave's a good guy, but I wish that he would focus his like, like and a lot. It's like, but a lot of people listen to him, and so I wish that he would do some listening himself. Like that's not a fun thing to say about your friend, right? That's just not a fun thing. But at a certain point, you just fucking you gotta say that shit, right? Uh, it's just otherwise, it's rough and it sucks. Um, um, yeah, I mean, and that's unfortunately that's kind of like the bottom line of it, right? Like, you know, people I like get called out for stuff, and I'm like, oh, fuck, okay, what do they say? What do they do? Oh, okay, and then the reverse of it, right? There's the other side of it, right? What do you do when everyone's talking about how great someone is, and you know that they've done stuff in their life that sucks? Does it suck that much, right? Can Should I rain on someone's parade because an actor they really like, I know, was shitty to someone I know? That's not enough, right? That's not enough for me to be like, well, here's the thing, right? Like, yeah, everyone's talking about how great this person is, but like I know their ex-wife, and so maybe they're not the best person in the world. Like that's shitty, right? But um if anyone was ever like, you know who rules is Dimitri Martin, then I would reply, oh yeah. I mean, he fired his best friends off of the TV show that he had. He the show wasn't going well, the writing wasn't going well. He was very unhappy with how it was going, and he thought that he knew better than anyone else, and he had his co-executive producers and co-head writers of the show, who were his very best friends, fired. I have a long history of not liking Dimitri Martin, and I don't care because I'm barely in comedy these days anyway. But uh, it is an easy thing for me to say about that. But I understand if there's somebody in like you're a comic book author and there's another author and you're like, this is going to be weird for me to be upfront about this, so I'm just going to not say anything. Like, I don't love that, but I get that. I understand it. Things would be different if Dave listened and maybe made some effort to grow from it, but he's not doing that. No. You do the thing where you double down on it, right? You go, You go, okay, well, fuck y'all for telling me how to feel and how to how to approach this stuff. I'm gonna do me, and now you're just making me want to tell more jokes. And like, I get it, I understand it. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. Um, 'Cause the real thing is, any comic who has been doing any stand-up comedian who's been doing it for as long as he has knows that there are jokes that didn't age well. No good comic thinks that all of their material from every part of their career is good. They may have favorites, they may have stuff that they're like, this ran its course, but at the time I love this so much. I know now it doesn't go well, but it was so good at the time. There's no comic that doesn't go like, yikes. So why, like, so the idea that you're like, nah, this doesn't hurt anyone, it's fine, I'm not doing anything wrong, is such a weird thing for any comedian to think. Because it's like, nah, you second guess yourself all the time. How are you not doing that right now? You always think, like, every good comedian, any comedian worth the salt is always like, uh, wow, people are quoting me from that special from 7 years ago. I'm not that dude. Damn. Like, I don't know. That is always surprising to me when comedians are like, but it is that sense of like, I'm a bad boy, and it's like, no, you're a millionaire. Like, you can only be so bad when you're a millionaire. You can only be so cool and out and like and badass and telling it like it is. Like, nah. Um, Part of it is the, oh, you think I'm wrong? I'll show you how wrong I am. Part of it is that, certainly. But part of it also is uh, a genuine, like, thrill at having something to say and reply to. Because at a certain point, it's hard to relate to people. But anger, frustration, that's easy. People really can relate to that. So at a certain point, these kind of controversial moments are a little thrilling, because it means these got fucking something you could talk about finally that people might relate to. Uh, Now, when you're a billionaire, you can just be outright awful, although there's a totally different conversation. Yes, that's a different conversation. But like the relatable element of it is a real thing that some people uh, never seem to understand about themselves, or they don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe it to be true that like there are just certain things that like that don't like ring true when you've made just oodles and oodles of money, uh because your audience is just like, no. But if you want to make fun of people, like, yeah, sure, all right, that sounds great. Like a certain audience is not going to respond to your private jet jokes. Maybe they will. Maybe if you are self-aware enough, you can make jokes about how you understand that, like you can make a joke about how, like, hey folks, uh none of you are going to want to hear this, but private jets aren't, like, I know you're all thinking about, like, whatever, like, whatever joke it is. You can make a joke about private jets with the understanding that you are commenting on how it is a ridiculous thing to try to uh, gain sympathy about this nonsense thing that you are talking about. Like, that's a possibility. Um, but it's a lot easier to just be like, hey, you see people like this? What's their fucking deal? What's their problem? I mean, the real thing is that it's these kind of jokes are, um, there's a reason why they work, is because they are old and trusted and like easy. They're very simple jokes, and that's the thing that uh Oh wow. It is so hard for comedians to recognize that they are edgy comedians, groundbreaking comedians that think that they're being like really pushing the boundaries are just doing the oldest shit imaginable, the most boring shit imaginable, and they hate to be told that. I don't know why that went there. I don't know why that got blocked in there. Uh, um, I'll put this in here. Everyone's had a tough year. I mean, my private jet. Uh, yeah, I don't know why that got blocked for a second. But Nightbot is trying its best, and I appreciate you, Nightbot. My private jet doesn't even have heat warmers, the things that we all have to put up with. Am I right? Yeah, indeed. Yeah, Ellen probably did that. Like, but I do think that you can do material about how you have changed. Like, right? Like, um, uh, 90s hip hop, right? It's not this, it goes through phases as well, right? 90s hip hop is your first two albums, your first album, your first two albums, your first three albums are I'm gonna kill you, or I'm gonna party, or no one's tougher than me, or no one's cooler than me, uh, no one's harder than me. And then breakout album, and then the next album is I've got all this money, check me out, look at me, I'm awesome, look at all this money I got. And then eventually it's the songs are about how you make songs and make money because it isn't it does ring very false if you are rapping about struggling when you are not. It just doesn't work. And that's not every crew. Certainly, that's not every rapper, but it is a lot of rappers that are just like, well, now I am going to rap about being a famous rapper because that is what I know. Um, and I appreciate that more than I appreciate stand ups, like famous stand ups who are going to tell you a joke about the bus. Like, no, don't tell me a joke about riding the bus. You don't ride the bus. You have private cars take you to places. Like, like if Jerry Seinfeld ever tried to tell a subway joke, a joke about riding the subway, not the subway restaurant, but also maybe the subway restaurant. But if you were telling a joke about riding the subway, it would just be like, fuck no, you don't ride the fucking subway. There's no way. There's no fucking way you ride the subway. No. Get out of here. Uh, but like, you know, John Mulaney's next hour talks about his life in the past 2 years. Okay, he can talk about that. I don't I don't know if he's ready to do that. I have no idea. Haven't spoken to the man in many years. But like, you know, it would probably be a little weird if John Mulaney was like, "Hey, here's my new special. Uh it's just stuff about my wife, my ex-wife, and I'm just going to keep telling all of my ex-wife jokes from when we were married." Although I will say he would not be the first person to do that, as long as he then said, "And we're divorced, but those jokes are good, so I kept them," which is, a couple people have done that, and I want to say one of the blue collar comedy guys did that, where he kept telling jokes about his wife, and then made the reveal that they had been divorced for X amount of time, but the jokes were still good, so he kept telling them, which is very good. Um, uh, want to say Mike Birbiglia had a joke that he would tell and then would say, "We're married now, but it's funnier if she's my girlfriend," which is just a good bit of business. Just a good bit of business to acknowledge the reality of it, but still get your fucking jokes in. I always appreciate that. But yeah, uh, honesty is hard, but it's fucking better. Honesty is so much fucking funnier than just telling a bunch of bullshit, being a bunch of weird, just some weird, dumb bullshit. Also, empathy is awesome and cool and fun. It's very cool and very fun. Um, hey, I've been talking a lot about comedy. I guess I could talk about how I'm doing a comedy panel in December, December 11th, 8:30 p.m. in the Mothman Theater at PAX Unplugged. That's right. I'm at the Vax Masked PAX. Um, get vaxxed at PAX, or for PAX, not at. I don't think you can get vaxxed there, but you should be vaxxed to go and wear your mask. But yeah, it will be streamed. It will be live streamed. I don't know if it's PAX 2 or PAX 3. I will find out the answer to that and let you know. But it will be live streamed. I will also rip that archive and put it up on my YouTube so you can watch that. But yeah, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, John. So 8:30 p.m. Eastern, because it is on the East Coast. In Philly, if you're going to PAX East, you can come to my panel. If you're going to the convention, Saturday night, 8:30 p.m. It is the improvised postmortem, which is my comedy panel, my intentionally comedic panel. I like saying intentionally, and I like saying comedy because that is to let you know what the deal is. But I will invite friends who are going to be announced soon. They are to be announced because I have not confirmed enough of them to start saying who's coming. But I will invite my funny friends to come on stage. Well, they will all be on stage because I'm changing it up a little bit. And I will give them the names of fake tabletop and card games because it's at PAX Unplugged. So I'll give them fake tabletop and card game names, and then they will do improvised postmortems. They will talk about why the game succeeded, why it failed, yada yada yada, for a little bit off of the funny fake titles I come up with. And then the lightning round will commence, in which case I will be pairing them up randomly, and I will be participating, not competing, participating as well. And we will go through fake names that have been submitted by people who retweet a tweet where I ask them to do that, which doubles as promotion for the event. And and a reminder to some people that they are on that panel because I asked them to retweet it. It gets retweeted it's in their mentions because I tag as many of them as I can. And in one person's case, one time, they found out they were on the panel because I asked people that I book, hey, if you have anybody that you want to be on a team with, that you want to perform with, feel free to invite them and let me know. And one time somebody said, yeah, my friend so-and-so wants to do it. I don't want to blow up their spot because it was embarrassing. And then that person hadn't agreed to it. They got the email like, hey, are you free like Friday, whatever, to do a panel? And they said, sure. And they didn't know what panel they agreed to be on until they saw that I had tagged them in a tweet. And they ended up being fine and were happy to do it. And were actually genuinely very fucking good. I did not know them before the panel, but they were great. Dante's Inferno, the miniatures game. Yeah, sure. That is certainly a fake video game title that you could use. Or, sorry, tabletop and role-playing game. A card game, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a fun panel. Normally, I have people come up to a podium. I'm not going to do that. We're all going to be sitting at the same table, somewhat socially distanced if we can, depending on how many people and how long the table is. But I'm not going to have people come up to the podium. And I'm going to start at the podium at the start of it because being the master of ceremonies is fucking cool. But I'm not going to make anybody get up and down and walk around a little bit. I'm just going to do that. Yeah, that confirmation thing is a mistake you make once. Go yikes, and then you double sure every time. Yeah, so now that's the thing of that's a thing where if I book someone and they're like, I'm like, hey, if you want to invite anybody, and they're like, cool, I'm going to bring so-and-so. I'll be like, great, what's their email address? And then I'll email them and go like, hey, so-and-so recommended you for this panel. Here's information about the panel. Let me know, thanks so much for doing it. And I'm like, if you have any questions, or if you were asked incorrect, or if you're not available or something, just let me know. Giving people a way out is very important when you are asking them to do you a favor, particularly because I recognize that this panel, more than any other panel, I'm asking people to be an improviser, and not everyone is fucking cool with that. They can. There's some people that are like, I'll be on your panel if you got a fun thing, but like, I don't want to do that. A friend of mine, actually, you know what? I've chosen not to say who, but she is someone who has never done improvised postmortem, but has done 404ing it. I asked her to be on improvised postmortem, and she said, I know that it's a short form game, but I don't really feel comfortable ever doing improv. So if you ever have another panel that you think I would be good on, please let me know. And then I was like, hey, I'm doing 404ing it. Another time I said, hey, I'm doing 404ing it. You don't really have to be funny. You just have to react and have fun. And she was like, I would love to do that panel. So it was easier to book her for that particular panel than it was other ones, because she was like, oh yeah, this sounds right, and this seems like something I would be into. Yeah, no, it's not in everyone's comfort zone. And even if I do try to make it easier, because like, look, when I did Improvised Postmortem, the video game version, some game dev friends of mine who may not have been the most comfortable doing improv are certainly in their wheelhouse. And hey, perhaps one of them used it as an opportunity to air their grievances with a previous employer, cough, cough, Aaron Trites, unnamed previous employer, and some of that decision. So basically just, it didn't matter what game I gave him. He was going to get his shots in at his former employer and some of the decisions they made. And it was very fucking funny that he did it. And it felt like cathartic in a way that I was like, this rules and is not what I was necessarily going for, but I love that. And other people are incredibly funny and smart and great at doing improv, or they're just like playful and have fun doing it. Even if they would scoff at the idea of being in an improv show, they are comfortable doing my show. Also because they know I'll take care of them. And here's the thing. I always say, oh, great, thanks. So if you're really bombing, no one's ever really, really bombed in the first half. But there are a couple people that are like, there was one duo that very much had run out of things to say. And I ended it early for them, just being like, oh, cool, thanks so much. Like, I'm so excited about your fake video game that we just said here. Because I can do that if I have to. I can jump around with all of it and make things easier for people and be silly if necessary. I'm legitimately pretty good at it. Hosting. Being an MC means understanding the pace. Yeah, and that show, I'm very good at like keeping things up and being like, okay, we have 40 minutes left. We got to move into lightning round, or it's been 20. We got 40 minutes left. I'm gonna jump into lightning round. This will go nice and quick through the rest of this. Because I'm pretty good at it. Or this person is on fire. Everyone is loving this shit. This is going so well. I'm going to give this person more space and more time because this is killing. And they're having a great time with this. So let's run through this. Or in the lightning round segment, sometimes the joke is just the name of the fake game, and there's nothing's going to be funnier than the fake name someone gave. So we might as well just do it and then go. And then be like, yep, that's our video game. We're like, great, thanks so much. Like, I know that. You don't want to do that too much because it doesn't work. Diminishing returns happen sometimes on jokes like that. But yeah, anyway, I'm very excited to do it. I am going to attempt to be on other panels because right now I'm going to just do one panel. And so I am kind of like putting feelers out to some friends being like, hey, if you need somebody, if you're doing something in the realm of comedy or improv in tabletop or improv in like uh, especially like, yeah, like tabletop, like RPGs. Like I have thoughts on that and that kind of style that I would love to talk to people about, like, you know, on a panel. I have thoughts on stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I'm are like improv for TTRPGers. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of putting myself out there that I would like to be on some stuff. Last ones and VOD, they were always well paced in many ways. Yeah, I try to. Also, I've been doing improvised postmortem for a while, so I'm good at that panel. By the end of it, like for foreign it, I got very good at that. Pat Bear's Anime Club, I've only done in front of an audience once, and I completely did not understand the timing of it. I had like, I don't, why would I think that the amount of guests I had, like that no one that they wouldn't like talk for a while about the things they came to talk about, including myself. Uh, hey, welcome, Thick Gunpla. Happy to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Working on the Destiny. Sorry, yes, the Destiny Gundam from the year 2007. I'm talking about comedy shit. Um, but yeah, the first time I did that panel at PAX East, the Pat Bear's Anime Club at PAX East, that was a learning experience. Uh, Being here, I'm in, just didn't want to interrupt. No, no problem. I appreciate that. Feel free to, you know, people should always feel cool with jumping in, saying hi, chatting. You know, if you have something to say about the thing we're talking about, if you don't have anything to say about the thing we're talking about, you know, people can always say hi. I appreciate it. I appreciate an active chat. I try to keep an eye on it. But yeah, that my pacing was bad for Pape's Anime Club the first time I did it, and I've gotten better doing the two digital ones for the online shows. Um, I am not going to be doing Pat Bear's Anime Club ranking tabletop anime. I pitched it, but it's not necessarily the best fit. That it honestly, I'm probably going to do a tier maker of popular card-based anime and tabletop anime. That'll probably be a Pat Bear's Anime Club like video on my own and not a live thing. Uh, and I think that's actually probably a better fit. I just kind of wanted to do another. I kind of wanted to do another Pet Bears Anime Club like in front of an audience because I've only gotten to do it in front of a live physical audience once. Uh, because, you know, so I don't know. The next PAX I go to, I'll the that is a general PAX. I'll probably do it there because I think that would be fun. Good night, Pat and chat. I'll catch you later. I'll catch you later, Harold. Thank you for hosting the stream earlier, and thanks for being here, my friend. And have a good one. Um, all right, we are finishing this arm. We got two arms done here now, so I can get this arm on and locked and snapped in place, which is always a weird sound, but fine. Also, these are the beam saber holders here, are hilts, and I do appreciate that. It's weird, like placement, but it's not on the waist, so that's fine. Uh, they do look pretty cool. I'll give them that. But yeah, they don't. I don't. They're not stuck to the side skirts, which I've always genuinely not enjoyed. Okay, we're gonna move on to the legs. We'll get a little bit of the legs started before we take our pause for the calls. Oh, okay. Looks like we're doing. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Really? I don't like this. I'm gonna say that right now. I don't like this choice. Um, we're literally gonna make all of one leg, and then we're gonna make all of the other leg. And I don't like that choice. I like doing whatever you can, like by two, and then putting it all together because they're, you know, there should be pretty much like mirrors of each other. I don't love that. I'll say that. Like, you know, you should be able to do that. I think that I appreciate when kits are designed that way. I still do them both at the same time. Yeah, I tend to, if I'm just doing something on my own and it's just me here and I'm building a model kit, I don't really have a problem like going like ahead and doing whatever I want. Like I did the shoulder here just to complete it because in this kit I was supposed to do all of one arm, all of the other, and then the shoulders at the same time. And I was like, oh, I want to do the shoulder so I can complete that side. So I don't mind generally jumping ahead. But if I am streaming like this, I sometimes like to just follow along and not jump around if I'm doing a live stream. But yeah, we'll just do one leg and then we'll do the other. We'll follow the instructions. That's fine. L. There. Okay, back there. All right. So, also the nice thing is, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm a broken record with this statement, but it's never stopped being true for me. It's pretty nice when you're doing a kit because, like, oh, well, I already built that leg once, so it should be a lot easier to do the second time because you already figured it out. There's any like tricks, anything weird. Sometimes when they do the thing with the knees and there's a piece that slides around because it's supposed to like simulate the movement of the piece, and it had some weird step that felt very complicated, and you're like, what's going on with this? Well, then you figure it out. Lastbrook says, I had a problem with the PG Banshee where it did build 2-time sets, and then when it switched to a specific leg, I did put some parts on wrong. Oh, okay. When you were doing the 2-time, and then it was like, and now we're just doing this one. Like it screwed you up. I can see that. I could see that messing with you. But also, that is a perfect grade, and I feel like part of working on a perfect grade is just being like, oh, I did this wrong. Shit. To me, that always feels like part of it. Oops, I almost put this together, missing a piece. I can't believe me. How dare I? Almost didn't put a piece in that I need. We do have the tools to fix that if that happens, but I still don't want it to happen. And we got to do L8. So anyway, long story short, I'm going to a convention and I'm excited about it. It's nice to have something to look forward to. I did so much customer service this weekend. I didn't talk about it on Saturday because Saturday I had only done a couple hours and I was like, that's fine. But yesterday I did a bunch more and it was very rough. I tweeted about this. Stand by it. If you're going to mail something to somebody for Christmas or the holidays in general, do it very early. If you are waiting until Black Friday to purchase things, don't purchase them or Cyber Monday. You can't because you're just not. Don't count on that being in any reasonable time frame. It's just because it just won't. It just won't be in a reasonable time frame. So you have to just be okay with that if you're going to wait. Because it's like from Black Friday to Christmas is literally just 4 weeks. It's just a month. So, and everything is fucked. USPS is fucked. The other carriers are getting worse and worse. It's just getting tough with products coming in. Good evening, Dirty. Welcome. It's just going to be hard to get things this holiday. So, shop early. Also, because some people are like, well, if getting like products from overseas is going to be tough and it's going to be hard to mail things. Well, I got the solution. I'm just going to buy from like Etsy. I'm just going to get like handcrafted stuff for Christmas. That'll be great. Also give you that plenty of time because those people need supplies to make things. And some Etsy creators or people that have small businesses are going to run into a supply chain problem. They probably already have it. And then also, they're going to be mailing things out and the post office is going to be slow, right? And the things aren't going to get there. And then they're going to get a bunch of emails. And because they are small businesses, they do read all the emails and they do read all the feedback. And they can't avoid that because it's part of their job. So they have to hear about how you're mad that the post office took 8 days instead of 6 days. And you get to hear that shit. And so they're going to be just drained and tired of the thing that is keeping food on their table. So do everything, give everybody time. Seems like this year's to buy your holiday stuff. Yes, this is the year to do it. If you're going to do stuff in person, you can. But like I said, if you want to buy stuff for yourself and you don't mind getting it later, then Black Friday deals could be fantastic. They could be exactly what you're looking for. But if you are like, I need to get stuff and then send it to people, one, consider just mailing it directly to them when you know, using their address, or two, get it now. Give the gift of seeds from Ace Hardware. Dirty? I mean, like, no, like going to a store and buying something. This is the year to do it. As much as I'm like saying, you know, like don't go out of your way to go outside, but like, you know, this might be the year to go and drive to somebody's house and give them their gift. Okay, so let me see. Let me make sure I got all this right here. Okay, let me look at this here because I'm trying to get this thing. That was K19, so that would be K19 is the one, is this one. Should be. So this is K19, so it's on this side. And that's there, like that, like that. Okay. And then so that's gonna go in like that. All right, I think I got this. Oops. Worth it. My family tradition to gift cards a few years ago, and mainly only gifts for kids under 19. Yeah, I mean, that works out great too, right? Yeah, some people don't send gifts out to folks. They send cards. They send, you know, well wishes. They FaceTime. They, you know, they get out there and do a little bit of hanging out, and that is their holiday tradition. Some people send out lots of gifts, and they are just going to have to do that shit early this year so that it actually arrives at any time in a good time frame. All right, so this is going to go on here. This is going to go here. This is going to go here. Or just, no, because it's this way. I think I'm figuring out how to do this knee properly. We'll see. But I think I just did this right. Like I said, we'll see. And then there's a hole because that's where something else is going to go through. Yes. But yeah, do your best with holiday gifts this year. Start early. I got everything I need. I got my holiday shopping done because I don't have to buy a lot. So that's done. I'm happy with that. Okay, we're going to take a pause for the cause. We'll take a break here. We'll get back to building very soon. But first, I got to do my personal ad reads. And we'll start with saying, hey, if you're currently a subscriber, throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the emote in the chat. Let the people know. Speaking of which, just Jam, also throw those emotes in because Jam just resubbed with Prime. That's 40, what's it, 46 months. I couldn't read that. I don't know why. 46 months. Thank you so much, Jam. So also throw those emotes in there. And just like Jam, you can use your Prime Gaming token if you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch account. You get this token. If you don't want to use it for me, use it for somebody because you already have access to that. Or you can do cash money. Subscribing is a great way to support what I do here. You know, and you could gift a sub. You could join the gift sub leaderboard like Aristophan and Harold. Thank you very much to both of you for gifting subs. And you could be like Harold and Bald Ridge and cheer. And you could join the cheer leaderboard, which would also be rad. But yeah, thank you so much to everybody that has subscribed. Being a subscriber is an easy way to support what I do. But it's not the only way. You can also join my Patreon. Patreon.com/PatBear. There's a $1, a $3, a $5, and a $10 tier. I believe on Wednesday I will be posting a Q&A. I do a monthly Q&A towards the end of every single month on Patreon, and it's exclusive. And it's just questions that they can, you know, ask me. You know, I usually get like 2 or 3. Sometimes I get a couple, but I answer like 2 or 3. And it's just me talking about stuff that I'm interested in. Sometimes it's model kit stuff. Sometimes it's New York stuff or my thoughts on other things. Or someone just like, hey, I saw a photo of you and this person. Can you tell me about this photo? I've done that only once, I think. Someone who was just like, hey, how do you know so and so? And I just told the story of knowing them. Let's see. Yeah, Patreon, easy way to support me. As I said, and there are different tiers. You can do that. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. Subscribing to that is free, of course, but you could also do a membership. If you wanted all my Wednesday videos on a Tuesday, so you get them a day early, so tomorrow you get my Wednesday video, you could join my YouTube membership there. It's $2 a month. Like I said, you get one video a week early. And also you get my thanks. I would appreciate it if you wanted to do that. You're under no obligation to do any of the things I'm mentioning here. The ones that cost money, you don't have to do that. You watching is enough, and I appreciate you watching, but I would be remiss if I didn't promote my shit and tell you about ways to support me, including direct donations. Direct donations go into a fund that I take money out of to buy model kits with. I have a backlog of a bunch of stuff that I have bought with that money. I'm good for a while, which is great because I was down to literally 2 kits in my backlog, and now I have more. But yeah, direct donations, everything I make through that, through Patreon, through Twitch, through YouTube, and AdSense goes directly into buying model kits. So if you wanted to, those are various ways. If you're watching this later on YouTube, what's up YouTube? You can find all of these links in the show description. If you're watching this later on the VOD, what's up VODers? You can click the show chat and you will see them in the chat there. And I understand sometimes if you're watching the VOD, you're not looking at chat because you can't type anything because it's in the past. So hello from the past. Okay, we did that with that. The Destiny Gundam that we're building right now. This was purchased off my Amazon wish list. I have an Amazon wish list, and you can buy something from that. It'll jump the queue. I have other things to build, and I had other things to build, but Raspberries 2 bought this off my wish list, so it was time to build that kit. I've got Lego sets. I have got high grades. I've got master grades on there. Inexpensive things, very expensive things. It's like, why would you spend $44 on a high grade? I don't know, but you could if you wanted to. It'll come to me in the mail. I'll build it on stream, and then I will talk about the thing that you sent me. Shoot a video about that. That'll go on my YouTube as well. And there's some equipment on the bottom because it's always nice that I could use another SSD. Mine's getting a little long in the tooth. And I'd look to do a fresh install on a new SSD. Ooh, that would be good. But whatever, that's there. And also some tools because my tweezers are kind of bad. So I got these like tweezers that are meant for jewelers that lock, and those seem to be real good. So I put those on the wish list because I don't really need them, but they would be neat. Alternatively, we'll get back to building soon. I just got to talk to you for a few more minutes about stuff, and then we'll get back to building. USA Gundam Store. That's the Amazon alternative. Now, I don't have a wish list on USA Gundam Store, but I do have the ability to link to you a page where you can go buy gift cards. And then you get a code in your email with a gift card. And then you send me a DM on Twitter, and you're like, hey, here's a gift card. And I'll take that gift card code, and I will buy something. And I will shoot a video, and it'll jump the queue just like Amazon. Only I think 3 people have ever done that, but I like having an alternative. Apparently Target does wish lists that work similarly to the Amazon wish list, and I am certainly considering that, but I haven't done the research in setting that up and making sure you don't see my address if I do it. So I have to do more research, but I am looking because it's always good to have alternatives for y'all. That's just good for me to have that. So I'm looking at that. No promises on that, but I am looking. If you want to support me and you're like, financially is not something I am interested in doing, well, you could join my Discord. It's free to join that. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. There's been a lull. If you're watching this right now and you are a member of the Discord and you're working on a model kit, hey, post a photo of that. If you're building an IKEA shelf, post a photo of that. If you just did some cooking the other day and you're like, hey, everybody, check out the stew I made, post that. That's neat. I'd like to see that. You're a maker, and if you're making something, share it. It's nice to see. But yeah, the Discord's been a little quiet lately, and I would love to see what people are working on. It always makes me happy to see when you're doing something cool. To know you're out there making something. A couple links. I put out a new episode today of Pat Bear's Anime Club, and it is literally about other shows that came out this year that you should watch because this is a bad season for anime. And then I also include the one show I'm really into right now. But overall, it's a rough season. But there were better seasons this year. There were quality shows, and maybe you didn't watch all of them. Especially summer anime was pretty busy. Spring was really busy. There were a lot of great stuff, lots of great stuff this spring. So maybe you'll check that out. And then let's see. Best of Build With Baer is ongoing video series. It's just clips from the show. If you ever see something during the show that you like, you can always just clip that. You can hit the clip that button. I would always appreciate that. But I also look for fun stuff that I say or do on stream, and do that. This one is me doing my best to describe Mauve Love Alternative and how it's an anime based on a visual novel, but it's the third visual novel in a series of visual novels, and it's not only a alternate reality of the first visual novel, but it's an alternate reality of the first visual novel, like an alternate world reality, but it also is the main character already experienced a bunch of events and has traveled back in time to relive those experiences. And then also the first episode has nothing to do with the show. It's just a tonal episode, and it introduces a bunch of characters that don't matter to the plot of it. And I just try my best to explain Love Love Alternative that way and how that's fucking wild. And it's the wildest anime that they're trying to appeal to people. Just what were they thinking? So that was a clip. That was a clip that I did in one of those. And now I don't have to talk about Love Love Alternative until the end of the year. I'm done talking about that, I think. I don't think I have to talk about that anymore, which is great. Because I feel like I'm done talking about it. Until the next time. Anyway, I'm going to drink a little water, and then I'm going to talk about some manga that I've been reading. Because I don't have any anime. I didn't watch any anime since Saturday that I want to talk about. John says, we'll always be talking about Love Love Alternative. I mean, maybe. It's weird that I'm not watching any of the mecha shows that are out this. I haven't tried the one where it's they're like underground. The father daughter one I tried. I didn't like. I haven't tried the mecha series where it's like pilots who also go to school. And I haven't tried that one, and I should, but I have not been motivated to try that one. Anyway, I'm going to talk about some manga, and we're going to get back to working on this leg. Because we got this far in the leg process, and now it's time to build some of the outer parts of the leg, which is an L. So let's get L out here. Okay, here's L. Anyway, I'm going to talk to you about 3 shows. 86 Part 2 is not a school mecha. This is the second, 86 is the second half of, it is a post-war mecha series about a society that believes that they're fighting against another country using these advanced AI-controlled robots, like these little mechas. But those are actually piloted by refugees. And it's about the people who do know the truth about this war. And it's also about the people who have to pilot these things who are literally living out a death sentence. That's 86. It's fine. I don't think the mechs are cool looking, I don't think it's great. No, this other one I can't remember the name of, but it's like Underground City. Gotcha. That one's on my list, and I couldn't quite tell if it maps. No, so the second half earlier in this year was the first half of that one. But yeah, no, this is a different thing. This is a new show. I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically like people live underground and they go to school, and also they're for some reason they're pilots. Maybe they don't live underground. I can't remember because there's also the father daughter mecha exploration anime where they live underground and fight things and have go on adventures. And look, I don't want to tell you that one ends with the father dying, but it's gotta. There's no way that dad doesn't die in that show. He's an anime parent on a dangerous mission with his kid. There's no way that dude doesn't die. I don't know. I have no idea. But I would not be surprised. Anyway, manga that I've been reading. So I'm going to talk to you about Eden. Eden. Here's the thing about Eden. It's not Eden. It's an endless world. That is a manga. Um, uh, that exists and is popular. This is just Eden, all capital letters Eden. This is not a popular manga. In fact, it was so unpopular that it ended. That it started in 2014 and just abruptly ended. Um, I don't know if it was unpopular or if the author just decided to discontinue it. I didn't do the research on why it ended, but it just kind of like has an ending that is just like this is the end of the manga. It doesn't just like it wasn't like canceled and just stopped. It like ended. It just ended prematurely. Anyway, I want to stop saying some words over and over again and just talk about it. So Eden, um, it's a VR MMORPG game where the players who log in can't log out, and if they die in the game, they can't be resurrected in the game. They don't know if they die in real life or not, but they do die in the game. And if you're like, hey, is that Sword Art Online? Like, John is like, I have heard of this concept before. Yeah, if you're like, hey, is this Sword Art Online? Kind of. Now, you know how, maybe you don't know this. The first season of Sword Art Online is pretty heavy. The consequences of what's happening in this world and what characters are doing to one another. The characters that are killing one another and the characters that are just, they're not killing one another, but they are trying to beat these bosses and get to certain levels to beat the game so they can end this and are dying in their attempts. There is some heavy stuff in it. But there's also like some lightness to it. There's like some humor and there's like hey, there's a little bit of, one character is like, "Oh, I thought we were going to do it." And he's like, "Well, no, what?" Like there's a little bit of lightness and a little bit of fun in it to offset the drama. Eden is like, "Hey, let's just not make it light. Let's just really make it dark, and really, really focus in on the harsh realities of what this means to be this kind of like to live in this kind of situation. Um, but also, what if our main character kicks ass and there's no good explanation of why he kicks ass? Um, he's a solo player, like in Sword Art Online, but he just got strong from playing the game a lot by being a solo player. He just did the tutorial because like the tutorial you couldn't die in it, so he just did the tutorial a lot, and then it just jumps to him being excellent because he did the tutorial a lot, and it's just it doesn't it feels really weird. It kind of like it feels like there's chapters missing. um, I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, you could read the whole thing, and for some people, the ongoing nature of like titles that get canceled, like that can bum people out. And so the idea that this is contained and is like finished, and there isn't a. I don't want to spoil anything if you are interested in reading it, but it's not like it's not like it's tapped together and they all live happily ever after. There is what would be the next arc is kind of like teased, and then there isn't a next arc, but it does have some sort of satisfactory conclusion. It does give you something. So if you're like, I want to read something self-contained, this might be for you. I don't think it's particularly great. I don't think it's doing anything amazing, but I do think it's fun. Fine, I should say, not fun. What is fun, that was a transition I was trying to make and I couldn't make, well, um, Enjoy Your Mountain Life is very fun. This is a lovely series. I am surprised this is not already an anime. I feel like an anime adaptation would make total sense for this show. This is the story of an office lady who spends her free time mountain hiking. She's not really like a climber per se, But her big thing is she wants to like climb up to tall mountains, tall hills in Japan, and then take out her food and eat delicious foods while having breathtaking views of like breathtaking mountain views. And she makes some friends with some people, and there's a whole little. I love this little thing of her remembering. There's a whole little thing of like a girl wanted like cool action shots of climbing, and so it was like trying to get the right shot on her phone, and then she like looks that person up on Facebook, uh, and it's just like cute, and just like a lot of it is just really cute, like running into some similar people and uh, being unsure if you can like it's like is this a hobby or whatever, and it's just like very sweet and very relaxing and good descriptions of food. And like I said, I am very surprised that this has not been adapted um, because it's just very chill in a way that I'm totally into. That's called Enjoy Your Mountain Life. And it's just an escapism, but not like a fictional world. It's just like a nature is pretty cool, huh? Okay, I'm going to go enjoy it kind of a anime. Or manga, I should say. And I highly recommend Enjoy Your Mountain Life. I think it's just fun and cute. And she's fun. Um, and the third manga, believe me, uh, I didn't enjoy this, and I don't like saying the name of this anime or this manga. I keep saying anime when I mean manga. I don't love saying the name of this manga. But I did feel like I wanted to talk about it because I think I read a bunch of stuff and I talk about the ones that are like meh sometimes and the ones that I really liked a lot. But I don't often talk about the ones that are just like, what the fuck am I reading? And so I want to tell you about is the only option a slave merchant? Uh so this is not an isekai, this is a fantasy world series. Um where stop me if you're before. Our main character doesn't want to do work and doesn't want to like live a dangerous existence. Just wants to kind of like chill out and do whatever. And so when it's time to pick a career, he is given some options, none of which he wants. Um, he is given the option of like, I think it was like magical swordsman or like mystic, like wizard, like top tier. You'd be a fool not to take these. And he's like, I don't want any of these. And they're like, and so then he ends up with the occupation of slave merchant, which is the most hated job one could possibly have because in this world, that's disgusting to be a slave merchant. And he's like, I guess I'm going with that one, which is where I'm like, okay, I don't think I can even Gronk with the premise of this one. Like, I don't even think I can even be like, well, this will be an interesting take on this because it's not. It's not good. Um, uh, but it also complements his stats. Uh, and of course, he's really strong, and he could have been the hero, but doesn't want to be. But also because he's so strong and doesn't like hide it well, because that's the real thing about all of these like I didn't want any. I want to live a quiet life, and I don't want anyone to know that I'm awesome. Well, they're still quote unquote good people, so they can't say no to helping and stopping injustice, and then they get roped into stuff. I'm trying to remember the name of one of those that I that was like, oh, I'm not gonna like do whatever, and he ends up like saving the world like 3 or 4 times. I forget the name of it. It was like the classless hero, or I did not need something like skills as an like yeah, it's a classless or unemployed hero or something, and he's just like, I don't want any of that, but I am super strong and I am going to save the day all over and over again. But in this one, turns out he does form a harem, and it's completely accidental because he knows that's a trapping and that's like a trap that if he like gets a bunch of people like following him around, it's just going to lead to more trouble, and it's not good. It's not a good series. I think I read 5 chapters of it, which if I don't like something, that's actually pretty surprising for me because normally I'm just like, no, I'm good. But also, I feel like this is one of those things where like a new chapter will come out and I'll be like, oh, I've never read this because I'll have completely forgotten about it. And then I will see it and be like, start reading and be like, oh, wait, no, I have read this. Fuck. I don't want to look at this. And that's the manga I've been reading. I have a few things that I'm excited to read in the future. I'll tell you about some of the stuff that I am digging into. I have read and will soon talk about Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Kana's Daily Life, which is a 4-panel gag strip series focusing on the littlest dragon in the house, Kana, from Dragon Maid. And I am excited to read that because Kana is cute and fun, and I think that'll be nice. Change pace. Um, I am going to be checking out the Labyrinth Raids of the Ultimate Tank, which is the guy kicked out of the Heroes Party story, but in this case, he is defensive. He is incredibly defensive. He is the tank. He takes all the damage, and he finally learns how to do an actual offensive skill. And once he learns how to do an offensive skill, he is completely overpowered. And then he's got a bunch of people that love him and want to support him, of course. Got a lot of fans. So yeah, I'm probably gonna be finishing or getting up to date with that. And after reincarnating, I became the son of innkeepers. Is basically what that says. It's what it says on the tin. Is reincarnation, and he is just the son of. He works in an inn. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. I don't know if that becomes something else where he is like actually secretly really strong, or if it is just like a slow life. Like, yeah, I'm working on it. I got reincarnated. This is what I'm doing now. I don't know what that actually is, but I will be checking some of those out. Uh, oh yeah, and then I have my pull list. Level 1 with S rank drop rate is the strongest, which is basically again what it says on the tin. It's a dude who can't level up past level 1, but when he kills a monster, the drops he gets are incredible, and nobody else has anything anywhere near as good as his drops. And he can craft items with those drops to make things that complement his low stats and make him very strong. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a fun premise. I like that. All right. Let's get more of this on here. I've been doing a little panel lining as I go for like things that are going to be annoying to panel line later, but we'll just focus on doing that. Now it's a part of the stream, friends, where I invite you to tell me, hey, what you watching, what you playing. Um, I've been playing more Inscription. It has gotten, I would say, more fucked up, but still really good. I've been enjoying Inscription quite a bit. It is rad. I'm also trying to finish a couple of the levels for Power Wash Simulator before our stream, but I also on Wednesday, but I also might just like leave them and do them, and try to finish one of them because I'm doing a lot of like lately when I go and check out Power Wash Simulator, I've been like, hey, and now we're going in and I'm going back in and picking up where I left off and showing this part here, and instead we can just clean them. But anyway, I got the 3 things that got unlocked in this level. I just haven't finished them. I might finish one of them before the stream on Wednesday. Power Wash Simulator, still pretty good. Not loving the, hey, let's wash this awful bathroom. But other than that, I'm pretty good. John says, is the messed up comment from a story, a mechanic standpoint, or both? It's just that like the here's the thing, right? I still like the roguelike elements of it. I still like the card battling elements of it. It's the story main character, like your what's going on in this world stuff that took like a turn that like it's just because I'm not a big spooky fan. Like the vibes of this game are like what's happening here? What did we do? What's going on here? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I love parts of this, but I do. I love the whole package. It's just that I'm not a spooky boy, so I finally got to play a bunch of Inscription today and managed the first run through by having Undying Squirrel. Yes, that Undying Squirrel seems to be one of the OP strats. I've never actually gotten that necessarily that strat there, but I you know, yeah. Um, I try to just be balanced because like I don't think there's a way to make an OTK deck in that, like just like a suddenly turn the tide deck. So I'm just like incrementally trying and like it's like figuring it out as I go. And sometimes I get lucky and sometimes I don't get lucky. But overall, I'm digging it. It's just sometimes the spooky vibes are spooky in a way that I'm like, yeah, And hey, if you're looking for a spooky game for the holiday season, might be exactly what you're looking for. I myself generally don't look for frights. Just not my standard MO to look for stuff like that. I generally just like to be pretty laid back on things and not scared. My flight instincts, you say you got your fight or flight. Mine are flight and flight instincts. That's my thing. I don't like when it comes to scary stuff. I'm just like, hey, what if I went somewhere else? What if I did other things? But anyway, what else y'all playing and doing? Last night I played more Jackbox with some friends, and that was really fun. And we were all on a Discord call, so we did mostly we just played Drawful Animate, and we played a lot of Job, but we did try the mining one, and we didn't necessarily love it. If we had been in person, perhaps that would have been better, but we could see each other via webcams, but it just wasn't the same. I think that might be a game that works best when you're face to face in person. But it was fun to play. Job is just still really fun. It's still just a really good game. Really well designed and fun to play with people. All right, I need J6. Why can't I find J6? There it is. Okay. Oh, a bunch of you said Lord Crashing In watched Dune, and that sure was a movie based on half of a book that I haven't read yet. Solid sci-fi movie. Nice. Glad to hear that. Ghost Valve says it's weird, but I have no problem with scary movie series, but can't handle games. Player agency is a whole fucking thing, Ghost Valve. It's one thing to be passively watching something. It's another to be actively the participant. Like, you're the one making your character go down a spooky hallway, not watching someone walk down a spooky hallway. It is like it is the primary thing that makes games different from other media is the playing of it. I'm pretty much only playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions, nothing new and nothing spooky. Nice. Really need to read that book someday. Yeah, Dune. Yeah, I read some of Dune several times. Let's see. I gotta put this in here, and this goes into that. Okay, great. I wanted to start a playthrough of Silent Hill 2 for the season, but just haven't had the time. I hear you. I haven't played Costume Quest. I often go back and play at least some of, like, I'll start like a new save of Costume Quest because I don't remember every part of it. But I usually like to play that in the spooky season because it's fucking cute and fun, and it's Halloween themed without being like scary. It's just like, hey, there are monsters. There's monsters. All right, let's battle them and put on fun costumes. We'll put on terrible looking costumes, but we think they look cool and they're great because that's the thing. Did I do this right? This looks. We'll see it when I do the other one. This doesn't look well. No, that looks right there. It looks like there's a weird gap, but I feel like that's on purpose. Like I feel like that's not wrong. But then I also feel like maybe it is wrong. I don't know. Let me look at like the renderings of this. No, this definitely looks like there's... Oh, there is a gap. Okay, this definitely looks like there's a gap when I look at this here, so I'm not worried about that. Let me put this on first instead. But yeah, like I said, I did want to do a playthrough of that, but didn't get to it. I have some time. There's still time, folks, if you want to get into your playthroughs of old games or new games, or you want to get into a spooky game for the season that you haven't gotten yet. You still got time to do it. Why doesn't this want to work? Did I do it wrong? I don't think I did it wrong. I'm gonna look yet. This isn't lining up in a way that I would like it to. And that's frustrating to me. Yep, that's in right like that. Okay. And then that's where it would go. Try from the top down, maybe. There we go. I think I got it now. Yes, that's better. Okay. Yes, this looks good. Got it. That was really annoying, and I hope the other one I do isn't as annoying. Instead of working on the feet, let's panel line this, and then we will go and do. We will start on the feet there, but let's get this panel line because I think that would be nice to do. This is the nice cool down, is doing panel lining because it's easy. Let me get caught up on what we were saying here. I've been working on the plane in Power Wash Simulator, which is fun. I like the lore bit where the guy says the laser gun heats up to 1,000,000 degrees, and also that the ship is hot enough after landing that you could cook food on it. Yes, that's fun. Yeah, I haven't done enough of the jet. It does look rad though, and it is fun to build that. Continues to be pretty fun. Let's see. I went ahead and purchased SRW30, which is coming out in a day or two. I haven't played since GBA days when they couldn't get rights to importing them. Yeah, I look. Knights and Magic is part of that, so it's technically an isekai is in it. So I feel somewhat obligated to get that. I just haven't bought it yet. I will. Um, I played SRWT on the Switch, and it's really good. Oh, hey, John, is that the one that has Cowboy Bebop in it? Because I know a recent one has Cowboy Bebop in it, and I think that is fantastic. Maybe even more than one. And I just think that is very funny. Um, that is the one with Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, because it has Punch and Judy, the people that host the Cowboys that host the bounty hunting show. Uh, and I just think that's like smart. I believe. Got me into Rise of the Tomb Raider on PC. I dirty got because I saw I had one Steve achievement and it bothered my lizard brain. It has full animated music cutscenes for Spike. Oh, that's awesome. Um, so yeah, I'm probably gonna get SRW. I just didn't pre-order it. I wanted to hear what people were saying because I kind of know what the deal is with that game, but I don't necessarily know enough about what the deal is with that game to buy it. I've also kind of already purchased, I mean, I was going to buy Jackbox no matter what because we play Jackbox on stream. So it was like an automatic purchase, but I'm like, don't know if I want to buy another video game this month. I think I might be okay, and maybe I'll buy it next month because everything's kind of slowing down anyway, but I don't know. I'm just not like super sold on it, but I'm thinking of getting it. And YouTube does not like when you upload any video of Super Robot Wars because any fight has 30 different copyrighted songs and animations. Yes, if I did buy that game and chose to stream it, I would not put the archive up on YouTube. I will say that. So, and I do like to put archives up on YouTube of my streams, but I definitely would not do that. And I also would delete the VOD probably just to be safe. Um, but yeah. Uh, yes, 30 is on stream. Yes. It's on Steam. Yeah, so you can just buy it later. Yeah. I haven't played any, but I feel like those games are largely the same gameplay wise. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just like the weird story and the weird connections of different characters. And like I said, with it having like Knights and Magic in there, and like I feel like Magic Knight Rayearth has been part of it, so it's not the first time there's been an isekai in that. Because I feel like I said, feel like Rayearth has been part of it, but it is just like a weird series, and it's kind of fun that they like it's gonna be like it's it's coming out on Steam, and that's just kind of fun. Uh, Magic Knight Rare was in a few previous ones. Yes, yeah. So there you go. Depending on the copyright stuff results in the video getting insta blocked, or if the 30s rights holders have to fight over pennies of ad revenue. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, Lord Crescent, I have no idea, but I feel like I wouldn't put those on YouTube if I was going to do it. But I am interested. I'm definitely like gonna watch some gameplay of it, or watch some streams of it. But I don't know if it's gonna be my next purchase. All right, let's get a little bit more of this done. We are gonna raid at the end of the stream. We're not ready to do that quite just yet, but we do end every stream with a raid. And so we'll go find somebody who's doing some stuff out there that we think is cool and go hang out with them a little bit. So I'll say this. Like I was like, oh, this is so similar on both sides. You could just do this at the same time. The feet are designed to be asymmetrical, because they have this like curve on one side. So this is supposed to be this, like, it wouldn't make sense to put it there, and I can appreciate that. So I guess you would do the feet separately, but I'm like, still think you do the legs at the same time. Whatever. Um, I just love to see what the writers do to combine Magic Knight Rare with Gundam, Mazinger, etc. in one cohesive quote unquote story. It must be such a fun job. Yeah, that's a lot of like. I'm sure that like in the development when they're working on stuff, like they're like, okay, so we've got these licenses, and then here's the one we're working on. So like, feel free to like come up with some ideas to how to incorporate this show because we think we're gonna do it. And they're like, what? Oh, okay. And to me, some fit easier. Like G Gundam. Sure, that show is already makes no sense. So like, yeah, sure, you can fit that wherever. But like, I don't know how some shows that feel very self-contained, like in Knights and Magic, do you just have the character like, is the guy gonna be like, wait, I'm in an anime I watched because he's an otaku gunpla builder. The whole thing is this dude worked a job and his hobby was building gunpla. And he dies and he ends up in a world of magic where the big mechs are powered by magic, and he becomes a pilot of a knight, which is a big mecha. And he's fucking psyched about that shit. And of course, he's an excellent pilot and all that, and revolutionary because he has all these ideas. And also because magic to him is like code, because he was a programmer. So he can see the code of magic and understands it, which allows him to do ridiculous things. But he's just a big, otaku, like gunpla nerd. So I would love that if he was just like, oh shit, I'm in an anime. I know this stuff. Oh, cool. I know all these things. And then there'd be like one thing where he's like, oh, this must come out after I died, or I got transported to this world, or whatever it was, because I can't remember the specifics. Because Knight's Magic also isn't great. I mean, does Magic Knight Rare canonically have mecha? Because they do in the game. I'm pretty sure they do, John. Don't quote me on anything about Magic Knight Rare, but I'm pretty sure there's some mecha in that. Otherwise, I don't know why you license it for that. But I thought there was some mecha in Rare. The DLC for this one is supposed to have IBO stuff. Ooh, that's fun because very few characters in Iron Blooded Orphans have any fun ever. And so that's just going to be tonally very weird if they're suddenly in that. Because they don't have a good time. Like, canonically, they don't have a good time in that show. Nobody has fun in that. So we'll see. That's interesting that that's what the DLC is supposed to be. That's even more reason to get it then if it's going to have IBO stuff. It's great to have really dour characters alongside very cheerful ones. They write that well. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be handled well. But it is to me very funny to be like, yeah, just like real goofs are gonna be like, we're just gonna have some real goofy, silly characters here, and then also like tragic heroes. Sure, just hang out with these goofs. Hang out with these goofballs. And all right. All right, we're gonna finish this foot here, or at least part of this foot. I gotta get this part on here, and then this goes in here. Yep, did that, and then A11, and then we will call this the end of the stream when I complete this piece. But we are going to go raid. Once again, Wednesday night is the next stream tonight, or this week, and it is Power Wash Simulator. Going back to Power Wash Simulator, seeing what's up with that. I'm going to show you the 3 levels that came out in the latest update. It is still in early access. Can you believe it? I have to imagine they're going to get this out, but who knows? Last week says Bebop doesn't have mecha or any much firepower considering. Like Swordfish 2 fighting alongside the Gunbuster makes no sense. I mean, yes, you're right. But it also has, like, I don't know. You could put Outlaw Star in there if they haven't already. Like, it's got a ship. It's got a spaceship. It can go in there. Cool. And Space Pirates. Like, go for it. Who cares? I don't know if Outlaw Star was ever in it. But whatever. Anyway, Wednesday is video games. No more video games tonight. We're going to go raid. Thanks everybody for being here. I hope you come along on this raid. Again, I don't know who we're going to go raid. We're going to go find that out right the fuck now. See who we're going to go and give some love to. Wednesday night playing Power Wash Simulator at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thursday, continuing on this kit, working on the other leg, and maybe we'll body complete by the end of that. I don't know. Let's see. When did? Oh, I don't think they've started here. I don't know what Undermine is. We're gonna go raid my friend Jordan, aka Ray FK, who is checking out Undermine, which I don't know what that is. So we're gonna go see what Ray's doing there. So feel free to come along on this raid. For Jordan and see what he's doing. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you come along this raid. I hope you have a great rest of your Monday. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you on the next stream. And yeah, have a pleasant one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.